Yo guys, what's going on? It's Acez here today with another video, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the USEC stash on customs. I went and did about 10 online runs and 5 offline runs, and I got some data on the stash. Now this took me a while, a lot longer than it should have. I've been compiling this data for about 2 days and only got in that stash 10 times online. So it definitely did take a lot of my time, so I would really appreciate it if you could drop a like on this video and maybe consider sharing it to some of your Tarkov friends if you're so inclined to do it. But guys, you're going to hear me clicking around a little bit because I do have a bunch of stuff, a bunch of screenshots and little footage clips that I'm going to be throwing together after I'm recording this part of it. So I'm doing the voiceover by doing it here, so it's a little bit cleaner video-wise instead of doing a voiceover of a pre-made video. So what we're going to do is check out the customs map first off. Guys, the stash spawn is going to be wherever I'm circling on screen. It should be down towards the bottom right of the map, and that is going to be near the repair shop. That is where the stash spawn will be on customs. That is a great map to have, by the way. I definitely recommend you go and download it for yourself if you're a little bit newer of a player, but I'm assuming since you know about this stash spawn, you've either seen the door open or you know there is some sort of additional stash on customs. So guys, I want to go into where this stash is next. We're going to be looking at a video clip here. Now I kind of have it slowed, or I kind of play a little dumber, so you guys, if you're newer players, you know where this is going to be. I wouldn't say dumber would have been the right word to say there because all new players are going to lack in-game knowledge at first, so it's not really a dumb thing, it is just ill-informed. But you guys can see where we're at. We're near the military checkpoint, we're near ZB101. This is the repair shop. Right at the end of this long stretch of road is the admin gate, and right there is the military checkpoint. So we're going to be heading in here. You can spawn in here, by the way, and you can also spawn next door with the 2 weapon crates, but the first part of the USEC stash is going to be at this door right here. Now, the thing that caught me off guard with this stash is there's actually 2 doors for it. There's 2 rooms, 2 loot rooms, and they're pretty, concealed. I mean, I had no idea these rooms were actually able to be open because those windows are pretty darn tinted. So the pallet we're standing on, there is a cigarette spawn, and then there's obviously the weapon box here. And then on this crate here to our right of this weapon crate, there is 2 cigarette spawns. This is a great set of rooms for farming cigarettes for the one task you need cigarettes for. It's like 3 out of the 4 different cigarettes. You need like 7 of them. This is a great set of rooms for them. So the next room has a little bit more loot, and it's a lot more appealing. We have in this room 2 weapon crates, or 1 weapon crate, 1 weapon box, and a jacket. There's some additional loot spawns on the 2 tables. This bench under this table does spawn cigarettes down there, so make sure you check it. This table can spawn duct tape, cigarettes, and rubles. You have the weapon crate in here. You can get, the loot tables for these weapons and these weapon boxes, they're insane. You can get HKs out of them, you get Reaper IRs, there's so many different things you get. And then you have the jacket, which probably has the most potential out of everything for making a ton of cash in the long run. All you need is 1 reserve key, that's a good one, and you're up $1 million. So it is definitely one of those gambles that you can take in the game, but this is the USEC stash. Now I want to show you guys the key really quick. It's simple, it's just USEC stash key, and it says it's like, let's type it in here. We have USEC stash, and then we're going to have, I think it says like on customs or at customs, USEC stash on customs key. It doesn't give you really any detail in the description. It just says somewhere in the customs area, but it's about 150k in 12.5. Now once 12.6 hits, it's going to be a lot rarer, and obviously at the start of a wipe, everything's going to be crazy. So this key can only be found on scavs, so therefore it's probably going to stay the same market-wise. At the beginning of the wipe, it's going to be super high. At the end of the wipe, it's going to be super low. It's going to be the same exact rate. There's no other way to get it except for scavs. So I would say, at the beginning of wipe, when this first came out, it was like 6 million, but at the beginning of 12.6, it might be lower than that. But other than that, I mean, let's just hop into some offline screenshots. Now these ones we're going to go through quick because I quickly learned with the offline screenshots that the loot tables are actually the same. There's only like 4 or 5 loot tables. I feel like I didn't do enough runs to figure out how many there were, but out of 5 runs, I figured out the MP9 and the MP5 loot tables had both repeated within 5 runs, and that is crazy numbers. Now, the footage you saw at the beginning was another offline mode, so that is an additional loot table with those 2 AK spawns. So the offline stuff means absolutely nothing to us. We want online stats. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you our spreadsheet first. We're going to load up the spreadsheet, and then we're going to take a look at the screenshots. I want you guys to know something. The highest run that we had value-wise was only about 100K. Now, keep in mind that there's a lot of potential with the jacket. There's so much potential to get a good key, but you'd have to get lucky. You'd first have to get a key, which you're only going to average a key 1 in 5 runs, and that's based on a 10-run average, as you guys can see here in the spreadsheet. But, over 100 runs, you're only getting 20 keys, and there's a lot of keys in the game. You would have to get a super rare key on top of that. So you might only get a really good one 1 in 100 runs, and, that's not really worth it. The only other high value items we had were, a suppressor and then a box of Eagle Neck ammo, which you're going to see all of that. We did get one good key, though. We're going to see that in the screenshots. We're going to come back to this most likely, but if you want to take a little bit deeper of a look at it, feel free to pause the video or just pull up another tab with this video and another tab. Listen to the rest while you're looking at this spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the online screenshots. The first one, do make a note that the suppressor in my gamma was from this crate. I was in an interesting situation with a scav who was a little aggressive, and I wanted to throw the suppressor in there just in case I died. So we have the suppressor in the gamma, but everything else in the scav backpack, we're only looking at the backpack. In the rest of these images, only the loot in the backpack is what matters. Anything in pockets, anything in the chest rig, none of that matters. Only in the backpack. So in this one, we have a high capacity magazine, some weapon parts, nothing else really interesting. Moving to the second one, we have, we found a pistol, we found a semi-decent stock, and a decent AKM attachment. Overall, you're making like 30, 40K, but that's about it. Moving on, we have a key, and we have a shrimp pistol. Still, not a lot to be made there. 30K, 40K max. The next run, we have a decent amount of laser attachments. That was nice. 25, 30K worth of lasers, but what else is there? Not much. The next run was our best run because we did manage to get that box of Eagle Neck, and we got a good key at the same time. So it makes me wonder if this loot table is going to be one of the more stacked ones, and it also makes me wonder if you get a good key in the jacket, are you going to get good loot in the rest of the room? This came from the same room. The pharmacy key and the Eagle Neck came from the better, more appealing loot room with the jacket, the weapon crate, and weapon box. So the pharmacy key there, quick sells to therapist for about 60 some K. Now, I didn't look at its market price, so the stats or, spreadsheet with the value could be a little skewed because I did not list it on the market, but pre-wipe, or not pre-wipe, once wipe happens, the pharmacy key is going to be an absolutely insane key to have because heals are everything at the beginning of a wipe. I mean, they're just everything. They just are. Heals are so important. Obviously, we have the new therapist thing where you can heal after a raid, so maybe heals won't be as important, but at the end of the day, heals are still insanely important in the game. So the pharmacy key at the beginning of a wipe might be $1 million key. Might be more, might be slightly less, but we're talking hundreds of thousands of rubles for the pharmacy key. The Eagle Neck at the end of 12.5's wipe, is selling for about 1,500 around. So we're looking at 40 some K. So that's not bad. This is not a bad loot run. Like if every single one was like this, I'd be hitting this room all day long. But it's just simply not the case. Moving on, we have yet again another high capacity magazine and maybe a decent stock. I think those iron sights, bump up ergo on like the MP7 or something by 1. That's about it. Then we have our next run, just some miscellaneous weapon attachments. We got an IFAK in there, which was nice to see. And we do have some heals later as well. I was surprised by the heals that we got out of this room. But this one isn't bad. And my voice is starting to go on me. I'm sorry if you guys hear it. I actually recorded this previously, and I was the mic was turned off. Bad habit of mine. So I already spoke this 15 minutes. I'm trying to make this one a little bit quicker as well. But this one right here, this raid, the very next raid, we actually got a Grizzly. I was super surprised to see the Grizzly pop up. They're about 30 some K, which is nice. It's nice to see a Grizzly. And this run also included the only reflex sight we got out of everything. Any sight besides irons. I did not include irons in that. That is also in the spreadsheet notes that I did not include iron sights for the sight tab. It was the only reflex we got with the Grizzly. We also got a flashlight attachment there with an LVO AS, pretty much a close range LVO. for, like factory. That's when I used the S version. But, I was pretty happy with this loot run as well. This one in the Eagle Neck, I was pretty solid on. Moving on to the next one, just a Sega 12 and some rubles and a decent weapon attachment. I mean, it was really bad. Then the next one, we have, I think it's our final one. Next run and the last run is the Red Hex Rail. That's all we really got with this one. This one was probably the worst one, actually. Well, probably the second worst one. But, it only sells for like 10K. It's not worth that much. And, just overall, it just wasn't that great. So we're going to move back to our spreadsheet and try to wrap this video up. Let me get back to it. So going back to our spreadsheet, is this stash worth it? Depends. Depends on what kind of player you are. If you're just somebody who's walking by the repair shop looking for some weapon attachments on the shelves on the other end of the repair shop, this is not a bad key to have in your gamma. If you find it on a scav, 100% keep it. There's no reason to sell it unless it's going for crazy money. If this key is selling for over $1 million at the beginning of 12.6 or whenever you watch this in the future, then sell it. If it's anything over $1 million, maybe even 800, 600,000, sell it. But if it's staying around the 200, 100K range, there's absolutely no reason for you to sell this key because you could get some useful weapon attachments. If we look at the averages here, you're getting 5 weapon parts per run. You're getting a decent item, 1 out of 4 runs, basically 1 out of 3, but I'm going to say 1 out of 4 to be safe. The estimated value per run is almost 50K. It's an extra 50K if you extract and you don't get a lot of loot over the course of your raid. The number of items, you have 10 chances at a good item, sometimes way more, but the average was 10.3. You have a 1 in 3 chance to get a decent weapon. You have, the least amount of chance to get a sight in there, but you still do have some. We have high capacity mags. Now, not any of the good ones. I did not receive any 60 rounders in here, so definitely one thing worth noting. You have a decent chance to get some ammo. You get ammo, 1 out of 2 raids. And you have a 1 in 5 chance of grabbing yourself a key. Now, over a 100 run average, you're getting 20 keys. The odds that you get a good reserve-based key, they're not bad. You might luck out. But I would say maybe, 1 in 50 runs, you'll get a really decent key. I can't really say for getting a good weapon attachment. That's about it. This is all the data I collected, and this took me about 2 days. So I'd really appreciate if you guys could leave a like on the video. I don't really have much else for you. This is all the data I have. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, leave a like. A lot went into this. Subscribe if you're new. Check the sponsors and equipment description below. I'm super excited for Wipe 12.6, and I hope you guys are too. And hopefully you subscribe and stick around for any of the content in the future. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.